So just should be able to see me okay now. We're sitting on our tailbones, on our sit bones, knees bent, and really exaggerate that upright posture. Okay, so I'll turn side on just so you can see what my back's doing. Nice and tall, of course. Exaggerate that hold. Shoulders are down, away from your ears, and hands in front. We start here just with our breathing with arms, okay? So nothing else moves, just trying to keep that upright posture with your back. We breathe in, reach the hands up. Breathe out, hands wide. Breathe in, hands up, and forwards, hold. If you found yourself slouched a little bit, just lift up again, tall. Breathe in, hands up. Breathe out, hands wide. Breathe in, hands up. Forwards and hold again. Check posture, last round. Hands up, breathe in. Breathe out, hands out. Breathe in, hands up. Forwards and hold. Now we're going to actually lift the rib cage higher, like you're lifting up off your hips. And then we tuck the tailbone under, rounding into a C shape through the lower back and lift back up. So breathe out, tuck the tail, lean back. Breathe in, come back up. So we're going to roll back onto the tailbone and then lift and sit up on those sit bones. Tuck onto the tailbone under and lift up. Always trying to keep the chest lifted, heart elevated up towards the ceiling. The arms are up just to add a longer lever, so a bit more strength work for those tummy muscles. Last one, breathe out, lean back. Breathe in, reach up. Now we're going to add an even harder one here. We're going to go into that C-shaped spine. So tuck the tail, lean back, hold, and our arms again. We breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, hands wide. Breathe in, back up, and hands to the front. If you can hold again, repeat. We go up, breathe in, out wide, in and up, forwards and center. One more if you've got it with me here. Let's go up and out, back up, and forwards and reach up. Sitting tall, relax those arms. Well done. You can slouch a little bit here if you need to. We're certainly primed in those core muscles now. We're going to just take those legs slightly further in front, but still keep the knees bent. The next one here is our rotation. So I'll quickly demo, but you can join me if you like straight away. We're going to tuck the tail, lean back, then twist to reach one hand behind, back to the center, sit tall. If you're with me, breathe in, lift tall. Breathe out, tuck the tail, lean back, twist to reach behind, hands back to the front, sit tall and straight at the top. Other side, tuck the tail, lean back, reach behind, back through to the front and sit tall at the top. Tuck the tail, reach and twist, and up, sit tall. Other side, twist, back to the top, sit tall, breathe in. Breathe out as you open, twist to the side, breathe in, come back up, sit tall. Other side. Well done, ladies. You've got two more, one on each side. And up. Once you're done, hands behind. You can drop onto those elbows if you need to for wrist support, reducing the wrist load. Fingers either straight behind you or to the side, doesn't matter. And we're going to push our heels heavy into the floor and try to get your hips up as high as you can. Looking up at the ceiling, open those shoulders. Breathe and hold, hips up high, squeeze, driving your heels into the mat to get your hips up high. And you're still there. Keep holding. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Well done. Legs out straight. Nearly finished with this sitting component. Nearly. Not quite. So we're going into our full roll downs. Starting tall. Hands back in front. Breathe in. Lift up. Breathe out. Forwards to the toes. Drop the head. Roll back up to sitting. Sit tall again. This time we go backwards. Tuck the tail. Slowly, inch by inch, down to the floor. Shoulders hit the mat. Stretch those arms long overhead. Big breath in here. On the breath out, we're going to lift the hands of the head and try to roll back up to sitting. Now you can definitely use your arms to help you, or a bit of momentum. Tall at the top, and then forwards bend on the breath out. Tuck the head and then roll up, back to sitting, stack the spine. We go down again, take your time, breathing out, tuck the tail. The lower back hits the mat, the middle back, the upper back, and long stretch. Big breath in, hold that long stretch. On the breath out, arms at the head, good. Healing back up off the floor. So sitting, straight and tall, forwards go, breath out. Reach to the toes or the shins. And this is our last, we get to roll down and stay down. So stacking up to preset, breathe in, breathe out and roll down. Long stretch at the bottom. So stay in that long stretch position. Just have a few little breaths before we go for the next. All right, so while you're here, just see what you can wiggle through that middle part, through your center, your core. So you should be able to wiggle a little bit with the pelvis, rolling forwards and backwards or up and down, just so your lower back then comes closer to the mat and lifts up off the mat. There should be a little wiggle room there. Sometimes it's tummy muscles doing the action. Sometimes it's your bum muscles, your glutes. Sometimes both, of course. What I'd like you to do is try to find a neutral, so a natural curve for you. Because we're in this long stretch position, it's more tempting for our body to be arched or open in this lower back and rib area. But I'd like you to try to flatten that curve a little bit. So use your tummy muscles to pull your pelvic floor, your bladder upwards inside of you, tilting the hips up or back into the mat. Then from here we do opposite arm, opposite leg lift, breathing in, coming up into the air, breathing out really slowly, touching back down. Breathe in, opposite arm and leg lift, breathe out, back down. Now you don't need to come up so they're touching. It's just to get them up off the floor and control that lowering phase again. So lift, breathing in, breathe out, lower, opposite sides, alternating sides, while maintaining that neutral lower back position, that natural curve. If your lowest ribs normally sit against the mat underneath you, try to maintain that contact. Or if you can imagine a blueberry sitting under your lower back, we want to hold the blueberry there. We don't want to squash it. We've got two more of these, just opposite arm and leg lift, breathing in and lower, breathing out. Our last one. And then the hands can come, or the arms can come down next to your hips. Good job. We walk the feet in as well, the knees are bent. Now I might get you to pop your hand on your tummy and one under your back. And we're going to do some pelvic tilts, exactly what we were talking about just before. So we're going to tilt the pelvis backwards or up for our posterior tilt. So you want to squash that hand and the fingers underneath you. And then we're going to tilt the pelvis the other way to open the space on that bottom hand. And you should feel the top hand rocking down or away from the chest. Let's go back, reverse, pulling the pelvis upwards, flattening into the hand underneath you, and then open and drop away. This is our anterior pelvic tilt, moving to the front, and a posterior pelvic tilt, moving to the back. One more each way, forwards and backwards. Then just little rocks forwards and backwards till you find that midpoint, that natural and neutral spine position. Try to maintain that position. If your hands are in the way, just move them. And then hands relax beside you, shoulders down. We're going to go into our leg slide. So very easy, single leg stretch here. We keep that core control. Breathe in. On the breath out, slide one leg out, hover it an inch or two just above the floor, then breathe in, bring it back in. Other leg, breathe out, slide out, breathe in, return in. Breathe out, other leg, kick, and in. So just stretching the leg so your knee fully extends, so fully go straight on the stretch. and hover the whole leg an inch or two up off the floor at the end. And return, breathe in. Breathe out as you kick out. Nothing else should move. So you want to keep that non-moving leg really still and stable. Try not to let it wobble too much. Chest and shoulders stay relaxed. They don't tense up, trying to help that stability work through the core. One more each side. Really simple, this one. Even though there's still a lot going on, lots to concentrate. Last one here. And return in. Now it gets tricky. We're going to add some coordination. So we're going to start with those arms coming up towards the ceiling. This time with single leg stretch. It's a double arm reach overhead and return back in. So let's have a go. Neutral spine, keep that core strong. Breathe in to set. Breathe out, leg stretch, double arm overhead stretch and return back to set. Other leg this time, kick and double arm reach and back in. Leg stretch, arm reach and in. So while you're going, I'm going to keep talking like I always do. Breathe out, leg stretch, double arm reach, return in. The things I need you to focus on, other than coordinating, of course, is the position of your lower back. So yes, we harp on about neutral spine a lot, but it's only so that you don't overarch, if you can see there. If I exaggerate, as the arms come up, it's tempting for my ribs to lift and arching that back off the mat. So we're trying to control that from, or prevent that from occurring. Still hovering the leg about an inch or two off the mat. Last one here. Then arms down when you're done. Cool. Now we're just going to basically work on strength of our core muscles or our abdominal muscles more so now. So I'll demo before we get going. Arms start above. As you do a single leg stretch, we're going to lift into a abdo prep or a slight crunch position. Fingertips are reaching to the ends of your mat. Head is holding a soft peach under your chin, so you're not completely compressed down and you're not poking up to the ceiling, holding that peach there. And you should end up looking kind of between the legs as you lift the head and shoulders. If that's way too much for your head, don't worry about the head lift. Just do the arms and the leg slide together. All right, let's start. So knees are bent to set, neutral spine, of course, hands up above you, breathe in, breath out, leg stretch and lift and look the head and back down, rest into set. Other leg, stretch and arms, reach, head looks up and return down. Breath out, stretch and look, breathe in, rest, reset. Breathe out, stretch and look, breathe in, reset. Keep going. Now you can move a little faster if you're breathing faster, a little slower if you're breathing slower. Work with your rhythm of breathing. Keeping that soft peach under the chin. Make sure you are breathing. Yes, no holding your breath. You don't have to lift that head, remember. You can just do the arms and the legs together. Good, 3 more to go. No rush. 3, 2, and 1. Head down, arms down beside you. No rest just yet. We're going straight into bridging. So we want those feet walking in a little closer to your sit bones there, your backside. Arms beside you or across the chest if you don't want balance support. We breathe in to prepare. Breathe out, peel the back and lift it towards the ceiling. Breathe in at the top and breathe out as you roll down slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. Once the tailbone hits the floor, relax completely, breathe in. And on the breath out, we lift up again, 1 vertebrae at a time, peeling your body up off the mat. Hold at the top, breathe in. And breathe out again, roll back down slowly, segment by segment. At your own pace, keep going. You know this one really well. It's such a good foundational exercise. Strengthening or loading up our posterior chain, depending on the modifications, it can be utilized to benefit every area of the body. Let's go again. Good. Now relax at the bottom of that one. So on this last, on this next, sorry, lost my brain for a second there. Our bridge, we're going to lift those toes up off the floor. Just still going into our bridge, but loading the heels really heavily down into the mat there. Then at the top, when you get up into your bridge position, make sure your back's not overloaded. If you feel like you're tensioning up there, lower the hips a little bit. Make sure you're really working the legs to drive the movement, not your back muscles. And the hands then just go overhead and back down again. We've got lots of this today, lots of arms. All right, so if you're not there already, lift the toes. Breathe out, lift your hips and hold, push your heels down to get the hips up high. Then it's just breathing in with the arms, reaching overhead, breathe out, hands back to the hips. Breathe in, hands up and over, breathe out, down. So you should be as stable and as still as possible. No wiggling, wobbling of the legs. Breathe in, hands up, breathe out, hands down. Keep the hips high. Keep the legs strong. One more here, arms over. Arms to the hips and roll down to the floor. And feet can relax. You can roll the ankles if you need to, if they need a little active recovery. And you may have guessed it already, but we're doing the opposite on the next one. So the heels are up this time, pushing the balls of the feet and the toes down into the ground, okay? So this will load the hamstrings a little more. If you're prone to cramping in behind the leg here, then this may get you. And if it does, don't worry, just lower the hips, kick the legs straight and stretch. That'll open up and get rid of your cramp. So toes down, heels up. When you're ready, we lift those hips. Balance at the top, hands up over, and then down to the hips. Same as before, breathe in, hands up. Breathe out, hands down. So some people find this easier. Some people don't. It just depends on how you're kind of wired, where your strengths lie, which muscle groups you normally rely on and which ones are compensatory. That's not what we need to get into right now, but if you do find it easier, that's okay. It just means your strengths are actually already in with your muscles in the backs of your legs. So keep working, hips are high, keep the heels off the ground. This is our last one with the arms up, then arms back to the hip and roll down through the spine, back to the mat. And let your ankles recover. Good, so a little bit more in the calf muscles on that one too. Sorry, I didn't mention that. You would notice though. Good, now, more tummy work. We're going straight into tabletop, knees over those hips. When those knees come up, try to make sure that your tummy muscles are pulling upwards and dropping the lower back into the mat rather than lifting away. Now, if that's the case for you, your legs are a bit heavy for your tummy muscles, give your hands a little support and pull that in to really reverse the curve of your back. Hopefully that makes sense. So in tabletop, we want those knees, shins horizontal. And then from here, arms relaxed beside you, going again into a single leg stretch. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out and kick. Stretch that leg long, breathe in, pull in. Other leg kick, breathe in, pull in. And breathe out, kick out, breathe in, return. Stretching the legs straight out, squeeze the thighs to get the knee straight. You can kick up higher if that's a bit easier for you. It will mean you need flexible hamstrings to get the knee straight on that higher kick. It does load those quads, those thigh muscles, which is good for strengthening the knees. If you want to kick a little lower away from the body, then that's good and more load definitely for the tummy. Breathing out, kick away out, breathe in, return in. 3 more to go. Last one. And just hug your knees over the tummy or chest for recovery. All right, we've got 2 more still with this same sequence. So quickly demo the next one. It's exactly the same movement with those legs. You choose which height you want to do those stretches, those kicks. But we're going to add, if you want, the head and arm reach as well. So this is our abdo prep position. So again, soft peach, fingers reaching towards the end of the mat. Really engage under the arms here to pull down those hands to the end of your mat. And it's those leg kicks in this position here. If you do want one hand to support your head, please feel free to do that. Swap about halfway through, which is 4 kicks, okay? Come down if you're ready to start with me now. So tabletop, lift the head and shoulders, reach the fingers to the end of the floor, breathe in. On the breath out, stretch and kick, breathe in, return in. Breathe out, kick, breathe in. So in this position, one hand support the head for if you're not feeling quite strong enough there. Oops. Swap hands if you have got that hand support. Breathe out, kick out, breathe in, return in. Breathe out, kick out, breathe in, return in. Nearly there. This is your last one. And again, hug those knees, drop your head. Little rock and roll for active recovery. All right. And we're not getting a lot of break because I really want to build on fatigue here. Our last one's the toughest one because it's the heaviest load. So wait for the modification if you'd like to have it. We start again in tabletop, and in that abdo prep position, it's a double leg stretch and in, okay? So this is what we're working towards. If you're doing it already, keep going, but rest when you need to. If you're not there yet, just wait for the modification. So you can do this where you're holding abdo prep with double leg stretch, or you can hug and stretch with the hands supporting your legs the whole time. And you can do this one with head up or head down. And then easier level again is double leg hold, hands here, and we go back to that single double leg tap and up, tap and up. So it's still a heavy load, but it's a lot shorter lever, if that makes sense. If you've been doing it this whole time, have a little rest. A lot of talking and demonstrating. We're going to restart and do it together. So good on you, but let's just finish. We won't go for very long, okay? So tabletop, lift the head and shoulders if you want to. If you don't have any neck trouble, reach to the end of the mat or hold those legs. Breathe in the set, breathe out, kick, and breathe in, return. Breathe out, kick, breathe in, return. Hands are on if you need them on. Head down if you need it down. Or breath out, double toe tap, breathe in, lift. Breathe out, tap, breathe in, lift. You do what you need to do for your body. This is our last 2. Last one. And drop the head, drop those legs. Long stretch, big recovery. Good job, I told you. Told you there were some tough ones today. But you're nearly done, or you've done a wonderful job so far. Really take some deep breaths in there, open up through your tummy muscles. We're going to roll all the way over soon, very soon, onto our tummies. So if you'd like to bring your head up towards the TV end, then that's fine. Let's move over now onto those tummies. So all that strength work we've done through our tummy muscles and the fronts of our body, we've got to kind of balance out, of course, and do the back side of our body, which is a lot harder for a lot of people, especially those, you know, who you are with some back issues. But either just do what you can or wait for the modifications, okay? So to start with, we do rest our head on our hands. Unless you need to see, of course, you can look up at me. But we're starting really simple with a single leg lift, okay? So just breathe in, lift one leg up off the floor, breathe out, down. Other side, breathe in, lift, breathe out, down. So with these leg lifts, you want to go just as high as you need to get the knee off the mat. You can go a little higher if that's easier for you, but if it's not much effort, then just go thigh and knee off the ground and slowly down. If one side feels easier than the other, then that's something we need to look at together at some point. And again. And last one. Good job. Now the next is our opposite arm, opposite leg, like our bird dog or swimming level 4. So we're going to start with those arms stretched out ahead of you. Again, nose just looking towards the floor, but your head is off the floor, unless of course you're looking at me, and that's okay. We breathe in as you lift opposite arm and leg up, breathe out lower. Now this is hard for a lot of people. If it's too much for you, particularly if you do have a rounded upper back, a kyphotic curve, then you can do it with your hands out wide in a T shape instead, or even if that's too much for shoulders, down next to the hips, but make sure it's still opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, so you play around with those shoulder angles. Do what feels okay, but still a challenge. Breathe in, lift, breathe out, lower. It looks easy, but it's certainly beneficial. Really does work a lot of muscles. Lift and lower, lift and lower. A lot of good upper body work today. More to come. Last one. Well done. Now we're going to bring it in so it's a little easier. We've got the elbows next to you, hands next to the face or shoulders. Head still lifted just off the mat so you can see or breathe. Then from here, we're going to do arms off the floor like you've got chicken wings, okay? So the shoulder blades are pulling towards the spine or towards each other, and the whole arms are up off the floor next to you. Then it's still single leg, lift and lower, lift and lower, alternating sides. Breathe in, lift, breathe out, lower, lift and lower. So a slight chin tuck, meaning you want to hold that peach, but it's a bigger peach under the chin now, or even giving yourself a very small double chin. Unless you're looking at the TV or the screen. Arms are up, shoulder blades pulled together, legs lift and lower, lift and lower. If it's too much for you, you can pop those hands down, just do the legs again. Or you can leave the legs down and just do the arms. We're nearly done. Last one here. Good. Now, without any rest, we're going to do our swimming. So this is a reach forward, head comes down, hands back to the hips, lift the chest. This is a hard one. Hands forward, head down, hands back, lift the chest. So do this if you can do it. If you want more challenge, do a double leg lift as well. If this is too much for you, no problem. Keep the hands down, double leg lift and hold, or hands down, double leg lift, upper body lift and lower. So there are a few modifications there. Trial and error, what you can do. We're not here for much longer. Forwards reach, pull back, forwards reach, hands back. One more time. And hands down, legs down. Well done. Now pushing into our Cobra. So this is arching the back. One more time. Don't force it. Only go as far as is comfortable for you. So you want to load those arms, lift the chest first. So we're arching the upper back, then peel the diaphragm and then the tummy off if it doesn't bother you. If you feel like you're really jarring something, don't go this high. Shoulders down away from those ears and come back down. Brace the tummy muscles now. Push up into hands and knees. I know one or two of you might already be here into cat stretch, Pilates stretch. Child's pose, sorry. So arching the back to reverse the load on those muscles we've just been exercising. Doing really well. We've still got one more strength exercise to do. So coming up, either hands and knees or elbows and knees. You can choose depending on your wrists. All right, so we do want those hands or elbows slightly in front of the shoulders and tucking those toes. If you've got some arthritis in your toes though, wait for the modification. If this can't be done, we're going to lift and hover the knees off the floor. So when I say hover, I do mean an inch or two off the mat. If you're really high up, just work your way back down to wherever you can just manage to hold it. Breathe, push that floor away from you. Now, if you can't do this on your toes, walk those knees back, drop the hips down and hold. Okay, last two. 1, knees down. Good job. We're going to walk those hands back in, up onto your knees, and then step 1 foot forward. Sorry, I'll just change the angle. So 1 foot's in front. If it's your left leg in front, left hand down inside that knee, right foot in front, right hand down in front of that thigh, calf. Then just turn and open the body away from that leg, sort of pushing your arm into your knee to push it away as you twist, and then other hand reaching towards the ceiling. This opens up a lot of different slings of the body. Now there's those muscle groups that work from one side to the other, diagonally across. Hold, hold, hold. And come back in. Stretch that front leg out and reaching towards the floor, the toes and the floor. So hand on the ground for balance support, or 2 hands on the foot if you don't need it. Good, slightly bend that knee now and pull yourself even closer. And release off. Other leg in front. So foot flat. Remember, hand on the inside of that leg somewhere. If you can only get to the knee, that's fine. If you can come down the ankle, good on you. Push the leg out as you twist the other way. Reach up to the ceiling. And back off of there. Well done. Slide that front leg straight. Reach towards the toes. Hand on the floor if you need it for wobbles. And bend the knee. Come on down. A bit closer. They're having a good giggle, aren't they?
They know something we don't.
Yeah. Come back up from there. Feet down, obviously standing up. Just take your time to coming up to standing. Well done. Well done. Nearly finished completely. Just stretching now. So wide stance with your legs. And we're just going up and over to the side stretch. And over to the other side. And back to that first side. But I'm going to get you to turn the chest down and reach towards the floor or to the ankle again. And back up. Same on the other side. Start with the side stretch, then turn the chest down and reach to the floor. Good, and then back up and open. Walk your feet back in. And both hands up, breathe in, reach onto your toes. Whoops. And out down to the floor. And roll back up again. Now just the arms on this last one. So up, overhead, then shrug the shoulders to the ears. We've done a lot of overhead work. Come on down. This time we're going to go around the front and hug. Really crawl those fingers around to behind. That opens up the shoulder blades as well as the deltoid, the back of the shoulder muscles as well. Release, and now we go into a chest stretch. So hands back, open, reach behind. Opening those collarbones, opening the diaphragm. Oh, and let it go. Little roll, roll, roll. A little jiggle, 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 and you're done.